What's up, YouTube? I want to give a big shout out to everybody who watched the last video and to everybody who will watch the last video. And I want to definitely encourage all of you to tune in and watch this video once it's uploaded. So what brings me on YouTube today for this quick, well, I don't think it'll be quick, but for this video in particular is the subject matter of the entertainment industry, the government, which I think is all tied together, and the damage it does to us and the mainstream celebrity and their psyche and our well-being. With that being said, let's begin. What inspired this post and this video is a lot of disturbing things that I've been noticing as of late on YouTube and other streaming platforms and also social media, going on with these celebrities like Kanye West, Orlando Brown, a lot of them, right? It's been happening for years, but as the internet grows and as this community of social media grows, more of it's brought to light, and a lot of it is more difficult to cover up, and we start to notice more things. So I'm going to start off with a few events that took place a long time ago that should have opened our eyes to what happens in this industry. We're going to start off light, and then we're going to get into some things where you really have to do your research and really think about it. The first event that I want to bring up, there's more other than this, but the first event is, and I want you guys who are old enough, because I was young when this happened, really young, because I'm not that old now, but I want you guys who are old enough to remember to really think about this. A long time, also, Tamar Braxton, there's a situation with that. If I forget, I'll make another video. But a long time ago, Britney Spears had a meltdown. Right? And those of you who can remember the NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, and that era of music, Britney Spears was crazy. Like, she was global. She was running the shit. Like, she was doing numbers, right? But then she had a breakdown. She shaved her head. She went crazy. She was crying. She got depressed, became an alcoholic, all of these things, right? But during this time, you had people publicly bashing her and discrediting her, disrespecting her, right? Going at her. You have memes about it that still surface to this day, right? Now, normally when this happens, a celebrity can't recover from it ever, not at all, right? Their career is never quite the same. They never quite make a comeback at all. But if you notice something, Britney kind of bounced back. You don't really hear on the radio like that, at least to the stations I listen to, because I wasn't really into that then. You know what I mean? So, but she kind of made a comeback, and her whole personality switched up. And I want you guys to kind of keep that locked in your mind, because it's going to play a very important role in the rest of this video. I'm going to bring up another person. Before I do that, right? Orlando Brown, because I'm gonna skip through and I'm gonna go back and forth actually, because I don't want to go into a timeline because it's gonna be too difficult to do so, and I don't really have all my thoughts together because this is a quick video. I just hopped on here. Orlando Brown is another case of someone who had a meltdown, and with this meltdown, Orlando Brown has formed multiple personalities in his brain, and one minute he's substituting himself as someone else, or other people around him as someone else, in order to cope with damage that has been done. Now think about it. Those of you who are familiar with his career, he started off very young, right? And for those of you who don't know his background that got him started in the industry, he was homeless, right? He was homeless on the street, and that for a young child could be very traumatic. You know, living on the street, you know, seeing things you normally wouldn't have to witness. And then immediately jumping into stardom and being behind a camera, in front of a camera. And that's pretty much the only normal lifestyle that you know. That would be normal to him because he started off in an abnormal environment and got introduced to it in another environment that's not normal, but would seem magical almost. Because you go from sleeping outside in the cold or the heat, depending on the season, the rain, snow, blazing hot sun, whatever, then to seeing yourself on the TV screen and everybody knows who you are. That in itself could cause some mental issues. And I believe that I believe that the industry purposefully chooses people who are in a sunken or fucked up place in their life because they can manipulate them and they could break them very easily and shatter their psyche. If you think about it, almost every rapper that has come out in the last, since hip hop began, was coming from a place of poverty and struggle. And as the hip hop industry or rap industry progressed, that pain and struggle got worse. The music became more grimy as a result of it mirroring the life that these people were living. Right? Cool. So I'm just painting a picture for y'all, and I need y'all to really kind of just focus in and put the pieces together. Orlando Brown came from an effed up place, which led to him being in movies, which later led to him being in Disney. Now, there's this huge scandal going on in Disney and many other televised programs that has been, as of late, surfacing up in bits and pieces. And that scandal is not just with children, mainly with children, but what's been coming up was sexual abuse, rape, assault, child molestation. All of this has been coming out. But Disney happens to be one of the key players among child sexual abuse. Most of their stars are kids. It's bound to be that way. But there are patterns that we should have taken notice to and asked the question, why? Every star, almost every star, that has started off as a child actor on Disney has had a meltdown, a crisis, shown psychotic behavior, drug addiction, and I mean extreme drug addiction, like junkies, not drug addicts, junkies, full-blown dope heads. Alcoholism, suicide attempts, murder, whatever, imprisonment, promiscuous behavior. Just once they become adults, they just are out of there. Like, they're not a normal person, right? Or what we believe will be a normal person. They're doing things to seek attention. And Orlando Brown is the perfect example of that. The reason why I brought up Britney Spears is because she had a mental breakdown, and I was painting a picture of what the industry will do to you to shut your ass up when you're about to let the cat out of the bag and open up that can of worms that they don't want to get out. That this industry is fucked up. Okay? Excuse my language, but I have to be blunt. A lot of these celebrities are on drugs. They're kept doped up. So it's really hard to understand how these people really are, who they really are. You don't really know. It's like a superhero, because there's superheroes us, and a superhero always has a secret identity. Well, theirs is forced to be kept hidden. They're forced to have a persona, this magical persona. So the Britney Spears meltdown, right, shows what the industry will do to shut you up. They'll torture you till you kill yourself. And then, if you don't, they'll just destroy your character, right? And then they'll put you through a brainwashing situation where if it's successful, you do what you're told after you get symbolically spanked, you're punished, and you do what they say and you learn your lesson, your career could come back a little bit. And now you're this brand new person. You've gotten your life together. It's so great. That's what they can do for you. This is Hollywood magic. Now we look at Orlando Brown. Back to Orlando Brown and Disney. I believe there was some sexual abuse going on. Because when you look at a lot of the female stars, like, when you look at a lot of the female stars and their behavior after the fact of their Disney career being over, and now they're starting their adult life as actors, musicians, whatever, the way they dress is changed. And there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of people say we only take a microscope to that because we're so used to them being so wholesome. That's not the case, because there's expressing yourself as now an adult and then doing the extreme. And then you become an alcoholic and ending up in the news for that. There is, let's say, Hannah Montana. What happened to her after her Disney career was over? She was in a rap video with a skin-tight, pleather, patent leather bodysuit on, looking like a fucking Thanksgiving turkey, right? Swinging on a fucking whatever, right? Memes were made about her. She's been arrested for stealing, for alcoholism, drug abuse. She looks sick. She doesn't look healthy like she did on Hannah Montana and other shows that were sponsored by Disney. Why is that? I think these acts come about and these meltdowns come about due to sexual abuse. Because she may have been introduced to sex or some sort of sexual behavior long before she was mentally mature enough to understand what's right and wrong, or understand what the fuck is going on. And I think Orlando Brown is also a victim, which is why he's lashing the fuck out. Because it's like, whoa, y'all did all this shit to me and now y'all betraying me? Whoa. Think about it. And I'm sorry, I don't want to violate, but look at Hassan Campbell. He came out and look at his behaviors and compare it to these celebrities. Dog is angry, excessively angry when he feels betrayed, excessively angry when something happens, is almost uncontrollable. He lashes out. He does outlandish things. They do the same thing. Not to say I don't respect the man, because he does try his damnedest to help the community and fix damage that has been basically put into the community and the scars that has been left upon us from that. These are just some of the meltdowns or situations that inspired me to make this video, because I want to give a warning to anyone who's trying to get into the industry to hold on to your morals, be very careful, and be successful independently before signing any contracts. Read your contracts. Make sure you have the ability to legally retain your human rights, because a lot of these celebrities don't have them anymore, right? Little Xan had a fucking meltdown because, and he publicly stated he couldn't even drive a fucking car that he paid for. He has no rights to do anything, right? This is the industry. They take your rights away because they know you're struggling. They know you need things, so they take advantage of your poverty and your pain and use it. When you get a hit in the music industry, back-to-back hits, right? They're likely to sign you to a slave contract to where they know every other label or every other platform wants to sign you into a contract, into a deal. So they'll sign you into a contract that is very difficult for you to get out of, and to which you would owe money or owe products or owe something to them that you have to continue to produce, or basically they will financially destroy you. Publicly destroy you or kill you. A lot of these celebrities receive death threats. So I want you guys to understand, become successful independently so that you have bargaining tools to protect yourself. Never sign anything that you can't protect yourself legally with first, because that's the first step of protecting yourself. The next step is physically protecting yourself. But we're going to get into that on another video. Right now, we're going to go into something that's very, very current. The situation going on with Kanye West. Kanye, in the last, I think, year or two, has been going through what I would call, well, not me, but what the world would call a mental meltdown or breakdown. I don't believe that he's having a mental breakdown. I believe that's what the media wants us to believe. That's the imagery, the picture that they're trying to paint for us to pay attention to. I think Kanye's a genius. And the only way that he could draw attention to the important details and important things he's trying to get us to see is by doing or saying things that we would perceive as fucking crazy. Right? The first of those instances, one of the first of those instances occurred when he got on stage when, who the fuck was it? Taylor Swift was receiving an award, right? The next instance is when he had another breakdown and people called him crazy. Remember before he got his hair dyed blonde, he went into the fucking therapy sessions and got electric therapy, electrotherapy, whatever the fuck you call it, right? That's the first. That's the beginning of the stages, and we all called him crazy. But I want you guys to go back and watch those videos if they're still up, and ignore the shit that seems outlandish. Pay attention to the other fine details first, and then go back and listen to the shit that sounds outlandish. Take what he's saying and break it apart into pieces. Some of the shit he says sounds fucking crazy, but he says it that way on purpose. I believe he really does. Because the recent, let's say, meltdown that he had, where he was crying about almost aborting his daughter, which I'm glad he didn't. We shouldn't extinguish a life like that. That's fucked up. A baby's innocent. I'm trying to word this in a way that's not offensive. In this In this recent rant that he had, Kanye spoke about some very important things in the beginning of this rant. He spoke about stopping abortion. He spoke about addiction to Percocet, and that the pharmaceutical industry is basically giving us a drug that is so similar to heroin, you might as well call it the sister drug to heroin. It's addictive. And then he also talks about self-worth and outer appearance. See, we ignore that shit, but we pay attention to him crying and having a fucking meltdown. We pay attention to him saying he almost killed his child. We pay attention to him saying he's going to run for president. But we're not paying attention to him shedding light on drug addiction, self-imagery, and self-worth. I think I said drug addiction, abortion, stopping abortion. We're not noticing the patterns and the changes in this one individual that could shed light on the whole industry, and how they force you to have a certain image when you go on that stage, go in front of that camera, go to the public. Kanye started off giving credit to Jesus, to God, to the creator, to whatever, when he was initially making his music. And then it slowly changed to making thought music, making making what I would call bling music, like you praising money, you money's your new god. To then putting him being cocky and putting himself in a position where he's saying, I'm the Messiah figure, when he labeled himself Jesus, right? He went through stages of corruption, and now he's trying to work his way back. And a lot of this mental breakdown happened once he became engaged and married to Kim Kardashian. And something we have not noticed as a whole yet is that every man that the Kardashians sleep with or become intimate with goes fucking crazy. Every minority man, every black man. And it's the only men that they really target. I don't think I've ever seen in my short life, ever seen a Kardashian sleep with a white man. And I'm not trying to be offensive, but I gotta be blunt and I gotta be real with it. I've only seen them chase black dudes. And all of these black dudes, once they give it them, their behavior changes, and once they leave them, they're fucked up mentally. I think Kim knew Kanye was on the verge of becoming as rich as he is now, because he had close ties with Jay-Z, who is a financial powerhouse in the music industry and in the entertainment industry as a whole. He has a very strong grip on his position in this industry. He could say he's retiring tomorrow and drop an album next week, and that album will sell millions of copies. It don't matter how old he is, nobody gives a fuck. They're gonna buy that Jay-Z album. And that's not to say he's a mogul. And Kanye is was at least at one time his right-hand man. See, Kanye is not stupid. He's a fucking genius. You could tell by how the strides he's made in this industry in the time that he has been in the industry. You can't be stupid and make it that fucking far and make it that rich, because a lot of people will get far in the industry and be fucking dead broke. It takes intelligence to leave this bitch rich. Kanye, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye don't get assassinated, God forbid, but I wouldn't be surprised. Or he's gonna make a major change. He's gonna change, and it's not gonna be for the best. He's not gonna speak his mind anymore. He's being mind controlled. He's definitely being mind controlled. And this is not me being like spooky or superstitious and no crazy shit like that, or nah, this is real life shit. Like, you don't have to, get mind control type shit. It could literally be being forced to shut your mouth and do as you're told. You understand what I'm saying? It don't have to be the shit like you see in Get Out where they hypnotize you, and it could literally be a gag order or, death threats that make you just say, nah, I'm just going to comply and do what they want. It could literally be that. That's a form of mind control. So, with that being said, I think Kanye is really trying to break away and get us to notice some things, because he might not be able to escape, but I think he's trying to save other people. And they're not going to let him. How many rappers do you think want to go give back to their hood? And not just save the street niggas that they're surrounded by, but save everybody and help everybody. How many of them you think want to go back and help? I think quite a bit of them do, but they don't get the opportunity and they're not allowed. Think about it. Really think about it. Look what happened to Tupac. Look what happened to Tupac. Tupac tried to be a revolutionary, and dogs got shot. Dogs got locked up for rape and was innocent of rape, but he got locked up for it. His albums were destroyed and lit on fire in the street. He was painted as a monster, but Dogs was trying to help us. Was trying to create another Black Panther movement. Look what happened to him when he tried to take more people from the hood than the industry would allow. He tried to feed more mouths than the industry would allow. Look what happened. Look what happened to him. If you do not comply with the industry, they will spank you. Period. They don't play that. You say what you're allowed, what they allow. You do what they allow. Right? So, a lot of people who tried to do more for the community than they were allowed don't get far. Let's use Papoose for an example. Right? When Papoose first came out, he was still talking about some knowledge and shit like that. He was still putting knowledge in the air. But when he was talking that gangster shit, or at least was camouflaging knowledge for gangster shit in his records, the industry was on his meat. They wanted him. The minute he started openly being, let's say, woke, the industry pushed that nigga to the side because he wasn't doing what the industry expects. They expect you, when you're black or a minority, when you rap, to come into the game and be ignorant. There's a very small select group of people that slip through the cracks and could be woke, and that's because they can camouflage their intellect with something else. J. Cole did it. Common did it, but you don't hear from him as much. Mos Def. Mos Def was fire as a lyricist. Mos Def never reached the level he should have. Kendrick Lamar. Do you hear about Kendrick Lamar as much as you used to? No. Do you hear about J. Cole as much as you used to? No. The only reason you hear about these woke conscious rappers is if they got a controversy with an ignorant motherfucker. Or they got to do something borderline ignorant. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of artists or actors that get on from the hood that want to help the community because they know what it's like to starve. These execs don't know what it's like to starve. Henceforth, why they bring their close homies with them, which ends up being a bad idea because they homies never seen money. This industry will fuck you up. Pay attention to what the industry will do to you. I watched, and I know this video is long, but I really want to touch on a lot of topics just to open your eyes and make y'all pay attention and go do y'all research and go look into things. I can't always do it for you. Other people on this platform, YouTube, cannot do it for you. And I don't always want to have these type of discussions, so I want to get it all consolidated in just a few videos, and I want to do other things on these videos. I want to introduce y'all to other things. But I was watching a piece of, I guess, what's now going to be the documentary by Gene Deal, The Last Big Night. It's about what led up to the death, leading up, the time span leading up to Biggie Smalls, Puff, and him going to New York. I mean, going to Cali from New York. And then Big's death, right? And he says a lot of key things that would say that if he's telling the truth, would say Puff either was negligent or set Big up. Or maybe was not responsible enough, purposefully negligent or accidentally negligent, or set him up. Right? Let's just leave it at that. He said there was enough security. He said Wolf, Big Wolf, which was a known gangster in New York. Like the nigga he had clout. Like niggas was not fucking with him as long as niggas was not gonna fuck with Puff as long as that nigga was in his corner. Let's be real. Let's be real. Wolf was that one of those niggas. There was a lot of them. And Wolf was gonna bring goons, niggas from his block, on tour buses to Cali, which would have been smart because you're not gonna be an outsider and go to another place on the other side of the fucking country with just a couple guys. And I'm pretty sure at the time you couldn't bring guns on planes. So just like today, you can't really bring guns on planes. So you would think that they would take tour buses to have guns on them to protect themselves and protect Big Puff's investment. Right? Now, mind you, some people are worth more dead than alive. And here's why I say that. According to Gene Deal, Big was broke during this period in time. And he actually owed money, according to Gene Deal. And Puff, being the label CEO, was going to have to cover those debts. And Big would have had to be able to make that money back, which I think would have been possible. But with rappers' income at that time and the value of money at that time, Big and Pac were pretty much setting the wave and setting trends on record sales at that time, I believe. So, for rappers anyway. So I don't think that it would have been easy to pay that back, because now you got to also tour. So there's more money being spent. Then you got to make more videos, more money, rent more cars. So it's different than things were not like the internet where you could blow up just like that and get your shit out there just like that for free or for very cheap. You had to go out there and touch the people. You had to make moves. You had to get in person. You had to actually, lay the groundwork. So he said Puff denied him those tour buses. So Big Wolf was like, I'm not fucking going. So they went anyway. He said Puff lied to him and told him, we're going to stay in the hotel like Big wanted, go to the studio,